So yeah, what we're gonna do today is kind of continue what I started for a few minutes yesterday, but then we were just talking about PoE2 the whole time, and we are going to put together some poisonous concoction of bouncing really quickly. I kind of got self-scammed by spending 15 divines on this Dendrobait. That was like ridiculous. Yeah, I was like talking to you guys as I was buying this, and I just like did it really quickly. I want to do Lightning Coil. I think Dendrobait's actually Dendro BAIT, because yeah, you get some damage here, but the it just doesn't have the defensive layers that I'm looking at. All right, do I spam divines until I hit 3/3? Do I do it? Oh! Okay. We take that. We take those. Was that 777? Cool. The chances of hitting that are exceptionally low. Yeah, in 5 divines I hit perfect. What makes it hit like this? This is the Transfigured Gem, Poisonous Concoction of Bouncing. And it'll just keep bouncing on the same enemy. It'll like chain the bounces, or it'll keep bouncing on the same enemy with additional proj. So what regular Poisonous Concoction, right? You want to get as much additional proj as possible. So you just shoot a bunch of them at a time. This one works by additional proj makes it bounce additional times, and it gets way more damage from your flask. So yeah, you can get additional proj. That's why like Fury Valve is actually really nice. It's like a very cheap, easy thing that you can add for more damage. It just gives you 2 more bounces, basically. Like the downside of Fury Valve is actually not a downside with bouncing, because it just doesn't care. It's already bouncing anyway. But we still do GMP and Greater Volley just to make it bounce more times. Future characters should have access to downscaled maps at level 2. Oh, that would be fun. I think a lot of people, I don't think that's that cooked. A lot of people I think are just very, very tired of the campaign at this point. And yeah, making the first character be very, I was just talking about this at the beginning of the stream. Those aren't people, yeah. At the beginning of the stream, I was talking about how I actually wish your first playthrough in a new league should be really fresh, or not really fresh, but like you have to earn everything, and even slow down the trade economy and everything to the point where you feel like you're truly earning everything. And you when you get Shaper down, when you get Maven down, all that should be like a really meaningful feeling. And then you can accelerate over the course of the league, and then it can be a much like. And then they can actually like ease it way more than they currently have it. So you can just kind of, have those downscaled maps or whatever for like a second character. Make that first character really memorable and really like lean into the experience. And then like later characters, you can, accelerate. And then just like it turns into a sandbox, right? Like at this point in the league, once you get like 3 weeks into a league for anybody, like even not everybody, but like most dedicated players, by the time you're like 3 weeks into a league, you're pretty... you just want to play in the sandbox. And that friction, we saw this last league. Like, I'm not an Affliction apologist at all. Like, I do not love Affliction. But we did see that the way that players respond to Affliction and how they really just enjoyed having a sandbox and access to things. And I think if we could have a really good dichotomy where it's more meaningful to the point where even the first 4 weeks become, like, really interesting for players, and then it can turn into a sandbox. And this is a thing I've been saying for a long time, is I think it would be sick if GGG then, like, the last month of a league, let's just go full Wacky Town. Give me Earth mode. And, Ultra Earth mode, go super wacky, and, do a Voided League. Like, allow you to say, hey, I want to go into a Voided League type of thing. And we just go crazy, and you can just have fun and kind of just, go nuts. Everyone gets, like, 10 Mage Bloods, right? I think it would be pretty sick. Because at that point, no one cares about playing for the economy or anything. People just want to have an excuse to have fun in the game. Yeah, the campaign will always get boring eventually. I really enjoy my first playthrough of the campaign. I do it genuinely. Like, first playthrough of a league, I really enjoy. And I like the second one too. But after that, like the number one thing stopping me from leveling a new from trying more builds is just not wanting to level another character. That's by far the number one thing. What? Man, this skill is weird. Like it's doing things, but I don't know how I feel about it. Like it works. It just like doesn't have a traditionally satisfying clear, if that makes sense. Yeah, it looks very scattered, but everything is dying. Yeah, it's really strange. Mana cost, 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 mana eeny meeny miny mo catch mana cost. Son of a. Yeah, I wonder if Fury Valve is actually a mistake here. Versus just going for Dragonflight, Dragon Fang. Wow, this game's got some performance issues. Holy shit. Yeah, we got some monster density here for sure. That one breach was a full level for my character, basically. What is my chance to poison? 105. Okay. The go-to farming method when your gear is crap. Yeah, I don't know if you would even do beasts. I think you might need yellow maps for the highest tier essence. So if you can do yellow map essences, doing essence and Einhar might be good. Low tier Einhar might be good right now as well. With all the people doing, mirror tier crafting. Not all the people, but people actually, the few people that want to sink mirrors after mirrors into it. How do you sell the beast? TFT. That's gonna be the way, for sure. Let's get a couple more levels, and then I'll put it through its spaces. I don't know what I'm missing. Maybe this is just the way the skill feels. I have 100% accuracy. Cruelty. I have awakened unbound ailments. I have regular void manipulation. I'm using GMP volley. Maybe that's a mistake. No, I want to run GMP volley. Okay, my supports are fine. I don't have blood rage. I can add blood rage. That's fine. Besides that, yeah, I'm not missing anything. Plague Bear? You can use Plague Bear. That's not, it wouldn't be awful. Dragon Fangs would be good. The Dragon Fang for the neck is 99 divines. Yeah, I know. That's what you make a good build, and that's the way she goes, man. I have like some league start stuff, some like mid league stuff, and then I have a couple like, aspirational items. Nothing insane. Maybe this is just the way the build feels. It doesn't feel awesome. I genuinely thought it would feel like, holy shit. Like blasting, just like shitting on tier 16s, but it's not. PoE 2, currently, so when I was talking to Jonathan, he specifically said he wants player power to be achievable. He wants you to be able to get very powerful, but you have to earn it. Those are his specific words. So he says, his philosophy is that there should be like a pretty hard road to get to extreme power. The question is, like, what is that path going to look like? I have no idea. I haven't seen anything past Act 2 right now, besides, a little bit of XLCon stuff. So I really, really don't know. But when I talk to him, yeah, there's so much, you can interpret that in so many different ways. When I talked to him, or rather when I played, I very, very much enjoyed, when I most recently played, the mechanical play. I loved that I had to use my different abilities intelligently and strategically when I was doing, boss encounters. I actually want more of that. When I was talking to Noogie, that was one of our complaints, was it wasn't more mechanical. Like, you kind of got your damage rotation down, and then you did kind of the same thing to every pack of monsters once your build was put together. And what I would like is, it might be a little exhausting in an ARPG that you're playing for tons of hours. But what I would really like is to have to think about, like Dark Souls, right? Think about the way it doesn't, not like a Dark Souls playing game, but just in terms of the philosophy of, hey, yeah, you actually have to think about how you fight each monster. Like, is it gonna be a cold monster, a fire monster? Do I do, which skill, etc. I would like that. And that's the way that it feels right now in the campaign. And I kind of want more of it. And for me, Hades 2 is a perfect example where the monsters that spawn and just the layout of each room changes the way that you do the fight. Like, the fights are fast, right? The fights are really, really fast and kinetic in Hades, and you can spam your buttons and you're killing stuff, but you're also putting a lot of thought. It's like subconscious thought, but you're putting a lot of thought into how you're doing every single room. And I like that a lot. I'm, probably the number one thing that has me bored of PoE1 is the fact that it's just a one-button game. I'm pretty tired of just holding one button down and blowing up an entire screen. Like, it's, it's satisfying dopamine and all that, but, I've had it enough. I've done it enough for years at this point. It's really hard to compare old PoE1 to where it is today, right? Yes, certain things were stronger. And, like, I played some really fast builds. I played a Berserker back in Legion League that could leap slam so fast. He use a Bright Beak. He could leap slam so fast that I would get disconnected from the server. Like, there were definitely some really funny, crazy things, but the speed of the game, the number of mechanics that are going on at a time, how well-rounded builds are. Like, there are so many checkboxes to make a build good these days. And we have figured out how to, like, solve, like, you need really good physical damage mitigation. You need, exceptional spell mitigation. Really good recovery. You need ailment immunity. You need all elemental ailments and bleed. And, way to shed poison or not take too much from poison. And then T17's derailed it. Yeah, and then T17's kind of lowered that diversity. I mean, I will say, as for someone making builds, it was frustrating but satisfying to make a very strong build. Like, I think the most well-rounded build that I've ever made is probably my Catswell channeling build this league. Like, just overall well-rounded, fast, powerful, awesome build. Definitely this league. Like, that was a very special build. And that really represents kind of like the culmination. The backpack, I miss the backpack too. I still have one. I can't put anything in it, but I still have it in standard. Like, I think that's really the culmination of my, if we count when I really started making builds, probably like the 4 to 5 years of me starting to make builds and kind of play around in them. And that's, I really pushed the level of what I expect from myself for making builds with that build. Unfortunately for me, it takes me a lot of time to make a build. I have to, like, pour everything into it. So it was a cool puzzle solving experience. The problem is the way the game is designed. People kind of just expect that level of quality, like the quality of builds that people are given these days, and like the requirements to play a build. Like, I would say the the ability for people to slap together just random whatever and play most of the content in the game is less accessible than ever. Now, the resources are more accessible, right? Like, if you are someone who can learn and is willing to put in the work to learn, the resources are there and just, like, we can teach you. But in terms of the amount of effort that it takes, it's more complicated and harder than ever, really. Because of things like T17s and Ubers, and that's what people are going to want to do, because that's where the loot is. And that's just, it's not their fault. That's the game. That's the direction the game design has gone. Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem, Rogue, is people, the FOMO. Like, you can make good money running tier 16s. You can absolutely. And in fact, my, 2 videos ago, right? 2 videos ago was about how you can just do T16s to farm for tier 17s. But even still, like, yeah, doing something like Harvest or whatever, you just know it's better running in tier 17, right? I would really like tier 17s to kind of be like static rolls. This is what I was hoping in tier 17 was going to be. It would have a static, unique role that was doable by most builds, but challenging, right? Think of like a difficult rolled tier 17, but with no bullshit mods on it that bricks like all the builds in the game. And then basically all of the rewards are backloaded on the boss. Like, make the boss a very interesting encounter. Like, really, really backload the encounter. And then make it so, okay, you have to, like, know the boss, figure it out, or get, eventually have a very strong build. And you get rewarded for it. Like, you know, take 10% of the loot that you get in a current tier 17 and then just put that all on the boss fight. The average evasion armor for a good build. So that's just not the way that Path of Exile works. Defense in Path of Exile is like very layered. So you're gonna have so many different unique setups for what your defense is. There can be a very good, strong, tanky build that has 0 armor and 0 evasion. Just like straight up. Like there are so many different ways that you can put together defense in this game that you can't simplify it like that. Now, if you're just talking, hey, I just want to be able to run maps and I want something comfy and these are my defensive layers, my go-to is something like armor doesn't matter unless you have at least 20k. It doesn't matter at all. It's doing nothing if you don't have at least 20,000. And really closer to like 30, 40,000 is where it becomes a like trustable, like a real defensive layer. And that's not it. Even then, it's not going to do much against like a big hit. And then with evasion, I wouldn't really consider you evasion based at all unless you're like 50% plus, and just like throwing out a random number. And when we're talking like actually evasion based, if that's like a primary defensive layer, we're probably talking like 75% plus. And like true evasion, we're talking 85 to 90%. You're making your own build. You've only been playing for 10 days. Yeah, and that's gonna be tough. General recommendation is to, you're doing a good thing. You're doing a good thing. Yeah, I mean, difference between 80 and 90% evasion is literally twice as much damage taken, right? General recommendation with Path of Exile, it is just so complex of a game. I don't want to turn you away from experimenting and having fun on your first playthrough. I think that's good. I actually strongly encourage people, if they can be autodidactic, self-teaching. I think that is one of the best parts of playing any new game is just experiencing the game on your own. But when you want to get into some more complexity and really understanding things, it can be very helpful for like your next build to follow a build guide. And then if you're in tier 13 maps on your first build, you've only been playing 10 days, that's great. That's actually overperforming. Yeah, way better than the average casual. I think you're doing great, and I don't want to discourage you at all. But there's going to be levels of complexity, and you can, watch some of my guides on the YouTube channel. There's definitely going to be some levels of complexity that you run into that you're just like, you're going to hit some walls. Did I try Poisonous Concoction? I did not like it. I didn't like Poco of Bouncing, personally. It was okay. Like, I killed Uber Shaper with it, but I did not like it. Like, I think I would rather Toxic Rain Caustic Arrow for League Start on a Pathfinder. So I think that's what I'm going to try maybe tomorrow. Because we're just going to go back to... We're going to do, like, regular Caustic Arrow, Toxic Rain, and try that out.